Welcome to a Monday edition, special edition podcast here on the Basketball Zone YouTube channel. I am your host, Leo Bias. Today, the obvious topic, Willie Cauley-Stein. Over the weekend, his agent telling Jason Anderson of the Sacramento Bee that he wants his client to become an unrestricted free agent. What should the Kings do? Today, we're having the NBA awards show, which I think is really silly. But one of our own guys, De'Aaron Fox, will take part of it. He is one of the three candidates for most improved. Pascal Siakam, D'Angelo Russell are probably 1, 2, and then Fox, according to a lot of people that I've spoken to throughout the NBA. It seems like it's going to be Siakam winning the award. I still believe Buddy Hield should have had the edge over De'Aaron Fox if it came down to only three guys. I thought Buddy was the most consistent player for the Kings all season long. Obviously, De'Aaron Fox is the most talented player, the best player on the team. But when it comes to consistency from start to finish, I thought that was Buddy Hield. No disrespect in any way. They both are very deserving, but I would have given the edge a little bit more to Buddy Hield. With that said, though, again, De'Aaron Fox is the best player on the team, the most talented player on the team, and he needs to be the leader of this team as the team continues to have success in the future. Before we continue and talk about Willie Cauley-Stein, this episode is presented by Valley Tire Center. Make sure to visit their website and book either a brake job, an alignment. If you need a change of oil, you can do it on their website. Or if you are a mobile person, you can download their new mobile app. It's free. You should do it. Why? Because you will have a chance to win future Kings tickets in section 106, which is pretty neat because you are super close to the floor, and I highly recommend you guys downloading this awesome new mobile app from Valley Tire Center. Willie Cauley-Stein. A lot of speculation over the weekend and a lot of hatred comments all throughout our platforms. How do I feel about that? I don't like it because he is the longest tenured King. He wasn't bad last season by any means. He had a solid season by the standards where I hold him to. Now, if you hold him to a star big who was drafted number 6 overall, then yeah, he failed. But that's not fair. He wasn't drafted there. The Kings drafted him there. Like, he didn't say, draft me here. And there has been, as his agent told Jason Anderson, a lot of change throughout the years. Lack of consistency from the organization. No lie there. They've had a lot of different head coaches. Willie started off with George Karl. Then he had, so was it George? Was it Corbin? See, I'm so mixed up that point blank period, there hasn't been, at least during his tenure, that consistency factor that he's wanted, that any player should want. With that said, Willie is no angel in any of this. He's been very controversial, starting with Media Day last season. And then anytime he has a great game, he may disappear for the next 2 or 3 games. And that infuriates a very passionate fan base like Kings fans. And I understand it. But if you hold them accountable and hold him to the standard that I've been holding him, which is a backup center, which is not a bad thing, then you will think of him differently. That's just the way it is. Now, his agent told Jason Anderson that he doesn't want the Kings to offer him the qualifying offer, which means that he becomes, if they don't, he becomes an unrestricted free agent. I'm going to go over some stats on pbstats.com. Awesome website. You can get a lot of information on there. We'll go over some stats that I've been wanting to go over. But should the Kings offer him the qualifying offer, make him a restricted, which gives them the ability to match any team if, in fact, a team offers him a contract. Now, that can go that can be a positive or a negative for the Kings. Someone can offer him 9-10 mil per season. If I'm the Kings, I may very well match that just from an asset standpoint. But again, it goes back. It's counterintuitive to what I've been saying, and that's I'm okay with Willie being a backup, but because I know how it all happened, how it all transpired, I would be very hesitant from an ego standpoint because he's not going to come in here as a newbie, as an unrestricted free agent, knowing that his role is to be a backup. He's going to get re-signed knowing that he has to take a step back for Marvin Bagley, Harry Giles, those type of players, when in fact he was drafted here number 6 to be that guy, that complement to DeMarcus Cousins, and when DeMarcus Cousins got traded, to be the guy. So from an ego standpoint, and I had this conversation with Billy Davis, agent for Jesus, I'm slipping on people's names right now. What's wrong with me? For Yogi Ferrell. Sorry about that. I apologize. Billy Davis, agent and manager for Yogi Ferrell. We had this conversation. He completely agrees where we don't know how he's going to react to that type of demotion. It's a demotion. It's the right thing to do because Marvin is a better rebounder. He's the better player. Harry can potentially be the better player next season. No disrespect to Willie Cauley-Stein. But that's the reason why I would be hesitant to bring back Willie Cauley-Stein. Which you can do him a favor. And there may be a team that says, you know what, he hasn't had consistency. They can give him $13 million. And then in that situation, you don't match. And you let him walk for 4 years, 13 per season, and you did him a favor. Or you can just let him walk and someone can just buy him on the cheap. The Lakers can be like, you know what, come join us. We're going for a championship. You can raise your stock here if you buy in and we go to the finals and you're that guy being that presence that we need you to be. And then he gets paid the following year. Or there can be a lower end team that says, you know what, I believe in you. I'm giving you 13, 14 per season for 4 years. If I'm Willie and knowing Willie, he would probably take that over the $3 to $5 million mid-level exception with the Lakers for 1 season. But again, it's how you view yourself as a basketball player. What do you think your value is as a basketball player? Willie, as we know, thinks very highly of himself, and he should. Every player should. There's this nonsense out there from fans that, oh, players got to take this cut or blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no. Players got to get the most they can while they can because this is a business. And at any point, that organization, that team can say, you know what? I don't like you that much. I'm going to trade you, even though I just signed you. That happens a lot. It's a business. You can't take things personal. So if I'm in that situation, in that position as Willie Cauley-Stein, I'm going to ask for the most I can. Why not? Which is why it's still shocking till this day that Harrison Barnes opted out of $25 million unless he believes the Kings will offer him 4 years, $100 million, which would equate to $25 million for the next 4 years, which to me would be insane. I wouldn't want Harrison Barnes back at 25 for the next 4 years. I'm sorry. I'm his biggest fan. But 4 years, $100 million for Harrison Barnes, to me, would not be acceptable. But if I'm him, of course, I want that money And I don't blame him for wanting that money. He's worked hard. He's put the work in to put himself in that situation. Again, it's all subjective. It's how you view certain things. Hold Willie accountable to being a backup center, and you won't be disappointed. You're going to think the way I did, which I thought he had a good year last year. He didn't have a good year in terms of being a starter. He had a good year in terms of being a backup. And I'll prove it to you. I have the regular season for his first 4 full seasons with the Kings. His first year, 66 games that he played. He logged in 1,400 minutes, 2,900 possessions, 463 points. Year number 2, 75 games, less possessions, 2,700 possessions, but more points, 611. So he improved. He became more efficient. Year number 3, 73 games played, 4,000 possessions. So that jumped up. Obviously, you expect that from a third-year guy. 932 points. That went up 300 points. He shot 50% from 2-point field goal percentage. That's a good thing. Year number 4, 4,700 possessions, 4,750 to be exact, 965 points, 81 games played. Consistent. 55% 2-point field goal percentage. That's pretty darn good, if you ask me. That's lower end starter minutes right there. And contextually speaking, I get it. If you just see his lack of energy at times and you're like, oh my gosh, I expect this. I understand that story. I see that perspective. I understand why Kings fans are frustrated with him. But again, if you hold him accountable to being a backup center, the way you look at Willie will change forever. I've been saying that for 2 years now. Let's go over his 3-point percentage, right? Or his just attempts. In 4 full seasons, he has attempted 18 3-pointers. He has made 4. That's not what you look for in a modern day big. The Rudy Gobert's, he doesn't do that either, which is why he's sort of unplayable in the playoffs because he doesn't have a mid-range game. He's a great defender during the regular season. But once a James Harden type player, Damian Lillard type player can put you in the pick and roll, you become unplayable, in my opinion, and in Kirk Snyder's opinion, because he had Derek Favors playing a lot of center. Now with Willie, because he is so athletic, he is switchable. You cannot knock him for that. He's switchable. He is very Clint Capella-ish type. Although Clint Capella had a terrible playoffs this past season. The year before, he had a great playoffs in terms of switching on defense. All these players have weaknesses. Willie's is he can't really extend his range. He's a roller. He plays his role. Steven Adams got paid to play his role, and he was very vocal about that. And Willie Cauley-Stein throughout the years, he says DJ, Steve Adams, all these guys get paid to do one thing, and that's rebound. And my thing is, why don't you do that? And we've been saying that. We've been preaching that. Why don't you do that? A lot of his excuses is he's broken his fingers going up for a block, and that's a very valid excuse. But if you can't power through that, sorry. If I'm the Kings, I just have to cut my losses and just let you walk. That's what I would do. I would rather pay a guy like a Deadman who has no expectations in terms of ego. He's a team player. Willie is a great teammate, great team player, but it's that ego philosophy that I'm scared about, where I'm like, oh, can he handle being a backup knowing that he was a starter? knowing that he was supposed to be the guy. How will that affect his game in the long run if the Kings do in fact sign him? If the Kings do in fact extend a qualifying offer to him? These are questions you have to ask yourself. Questions of concern. You don't know. You're not a fortune teller. All of these things should be taken into account. All of these things. Who would be the second longest tenured king? Buddy Hield. If Willie leaves, if Costa leaves, Buddy Hield, a guy who has played 3 full seasons, would be the longest tenured king. That's crazy. That is crazy. I appreciate all the people that are on the live right now. Make sure to slap that like button or dislike button if you don't agree with what I'm saying. I will answer some of your questions in a little bit. Just want to get my thoughts out there. Thank you guys so much for all the support. I would love for you guys to drop a rating on iTunes. Leave us a review if you can. And subscribe. Share this with all your Kings fans. Share this with all your Kentucky basketball fans. And all NBA fans who do watch this channel. We finally reached 7,000 subscribers. We appreciate that. Thank you guys so much. It's going to be interesting. In a few days, June 30th, free agency begins. Will the Kings make some trades? We've been talking about the Clint Capella, Steven Adams. Steven Adams was a possibility on draft night. The Kings didn't want to part ways with Bogdan Bogdanovic, and I don't blame them. I was very vocal before it all happened, where I was like, I wouldn't want to give up on Bogey. E-Man, our photo editor, said he would, and that's fair. I get both perspectives. I understand them completely. Now, will that trade still be available for the Kings? I think it will. The Thunder still have yet to get under the luxury tax. So if you strike out in free agency with these bigs like the Al Horfords of the world, why not go out and be like, you know what? I tried to improve my roster without giving up an asset. Now I have to give up an asset to gain another asset that can help me in the long run. You have to explore all your options. I think the front office was pretty smart during draft day. I wouldn't say they were amazing because there are certain players who I would have loved to have, like Brandon Clark dropping to 21. I would have traded some value for him. He would have been a perfect guy on this roster. Even a Carson Edwards type player who got drafted a few spots before you got to draft that number 40, Cody Martin of the world. High level IQ players who are versatile. And a Cody Martin and a Brandon Clark. And just a dead sniper, a straight up sniper in Carson Edwards. You had a shot to draft a Shamori Pond who canceled his workout with the Kings. Those things happen. This is an agent-driven league. Agents do that to their players. But it kind of worked out because he got signed. I believe it's a multi-year deal with the Houston Rockets. It kind of worked out for them. Let me know what you guys think about that. What are people saying? Do a sign and trade on Willie also, like the Bryce Brown pickup. No, Leo, keep Bogey. The guy has heart. I wouldn't trade him. And I'm in the same boat. I believe Bogey Bogdanovic has a shot to be a sixth man in this league, a guy who can finish games for you, a guy who is ballsy as hell when it comes down to the clutch. You can't teach those type of things in terms of either having those ice cold veins or not. Bogdanovic has that. He has proven that on all different levels. Before he came to the Kings, he was a ballsy, game-winning basketball player. When he got to the Kings, he continued that. Now, is he Luka Doncic? No. I've been very open about that since the start. He's not Luka Doncic, but that's not a bad thing. We didn't bring him in to be Luka Doncic. We brought him in to be Bogdan Bogdanovic, who before he got injured, before last year started, was the starter on the team. Now, I like him off the bench because of his versatility on offense, the fact that he can be your point guard, your shooting guard, your three-man in certain lineups. I like that. Being versatile in the NBA holds a lot of value. That's why I would be so reluctant to give up on a guy like that. But you also got to think about salary. He's going to be a unrestricted free agent next season. His contract's coming up. It's going to take about 12, 13, 14 mil to keep him. A lot of teams would love him. I know Spurs would. They've been tampering with him since his rookie season. He would be amazing on that team, in that offense, in that system, in that culture with Greg Popovich. Steven Adams. Does he fit with the Kings? I believe he does. It would be a hefty price tag, in my opinion. But that's what it would take. That's what it would take for this team to improve. The California Classic, July 1st through July 3rd. The Las Vegas Summer League, July 5th through the 15th, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. It's going to be a fun summer. A lot of stuff happening, man. We'll be here covering it. The Blazers make a trade with the Hawks. They acquire Kent Bazemore for, what's his name? For Evan Turner. Sorry about that. Bazemore for Turner. It's more of a insurance policy for the Blazers if they can't keep Rodney Hood after Rodney Hood had a great playoffs. But can Rodney Hood sustain that is the real question. I don't know if he can. I really don't. Let's talk about some of the fan bases that may be heartbroken, like the Raptors fan base. I hope not. I hope Kawhi makes the right decision and he stays in Toronto. But if he goes to the Clippers, that's gonna make life difficult for the Kings. Let's just keep it real. Like that's a real thing. The Lakers just got better. The Clippers will instantly get better. The Warriors will probably get their guys back if they don't leave. It's gonna be tough, man. The West is tough as it is, but when you play in that type of division with so much star power, that's crazy to me. That's crazy. Someone says, can we all agree that the Suns are the most incompetent franchise? As of right now, I would say yes. As of right now. But they have a lot of talent on that roster. No disrespect to Suns fans. They have a lot of talent. Can their new head coach make the difference and set the culture, set the standard for these guys? They will probably get rid of Josh Jackson. Is that a guy who the Kings can go after? That'll be interesting. He holds I think, about a $6.7 million cap. Now, I would wait and see what I do in free agency. If I strike out, he's an option. He is a top 5 pick talent who a lot of people thought he was the best player in the draft in 2017, believe it or not. Can they say, just like Willie, he's been under a very inconsistent organization like the Phoenix Suns? Can we take a fly on him? The talent is there. The mindset isn't. The off-the-court issues isn't. He needs to be better. He needs to be more professional. Can they go after a guy like that? Is the real question. If they strike out, I would call Phoenix and give him a future second-round pick. Why not? Bring him over for Summer League. See what he has. Get his confidence up. Start believing in him. Show him that you are a stable organization something that the Kings haven't been in the past 13 years. This past year was the first step in the right direction. They're heading in the right direction. I believe they are stable now. They've set that culture now. Now you just got to build from there. That's where the Suns are not at currently. Can they get there? Sure. But it's going to take a lot of commitment from their basketball players. Can they put the egos aside for the betterment of the team? That's what it comes down to. Someone says, can they cut Caleb? They will probably cut Caleb. But right now, no need to. You have to see how many roster spots will be available. You may keep him as a third string backup. I would bring back Kosta Koufos as a third string backup, knowing Kosta very well. Low profile player, great teammate. Coaches love him. He does the right things. He does the little things to win basketball games. He's a nice insurance policy to have. I know a lot of contenders at the deadline wanted Kosta Koufos. Now, I can't say much more than that because I would be breaking some things, but teams value Kosta Koufos, believe it or not, because teams are smart. The teams are not fans, and they don't see, oh, this guy averages a point or whatever the case is. No, this guy makes winning plays, and he accepts his role, which not many guys do, which is why he is so valuable on a basketball team. He's so valuable for an organization, for a community as a whole. That's Kosta Koufos. Someone says 2K is a nice veteran. That hook shot is unblockable. LOL. That hook shot is unblockable. It's a high percentage shot. I'd be using that hook shot all the time. Dudes can't guard it. Even guys who are taller and guys who jump, who try to block it, I go up and under, or I go into the bodies, and it's a foul. You can't block it. It's a hard shot to block. And if you do, hats off to you. Respect. You timed it very perfectly, and you probably have to be taller. But if you're already 7 feet, you're now blocking that. I appreciate all the people that are on right now. Thank you guys so much. So we've covered Willie Cauley-Stein, what I believe, NBA awards, the trade that happened today. It's going to be fun, guys. Thank you guys so much. Make sure to listen to this on iTunes, Spotify, all the audio platforms. Thank you guys so much. Don't forget to slap that like button. It really does help us out a lot. I'll see you guys on the next one, guys. If anything breaks, we'll be here providing frontline coverage as usual. I will be doing a lot of more NBA videos for other NBA teams. We're trying to attract other fans as well. But y'all know how I always keep it real, man. I always have a soft spot for the Kings because that's my team as well. So thank you guys so much. I'll see you guys on the next one.